Hey everybody, welcome to Marketing Strategy MBA 631. This short video is just going to be a discussion of some of the course policies and just an introduction to some of the semantics of what this course is about. I'm Dr. Flight, and I'm super excited about getting to know you more, seeing you in class, and hearing about your backgrounds and all that you are planning to do with your MBA as we move forward. So welcome to Marketing Strategy. One thing I'd like to talk about and just kind of walk through briefly here is this idea that in an MBA program, as a Master's of Business Administration, you'll have exposure to a lot of different areas of marketing or of business, marketing being one of them. And it's important in a system, in a business that or organization that has lots of different functions. It's important to appreciate that these functions work in an interconnected way. So while this is a marketing course, and yeah, I'm going to talk a lot about marketing, and I'm going to focus on marketing theory and decision making when it comes to this very, very broad field. I'm also aware and conscientious that to the idea that that the decisions that are made in marketing impact and affect many other areas of business, and vice versa. The decisions made in other areas also impact what we can do. So when we think about like learning goals, learning objectives, the things that we want to do, we want to focus on decision making and kind of the context of decisions based on how it impacts us from a marketing perspective. And marketing is very broad, as I mentioned. In marketing, we do a lot of product development, product design. We worry quite a bit about things like profit margin, sales, how to lower costs when it comes to like acquisition of customers and things like that. So. All of these things impact other parts of the firm, but they're also rooted in how we make decisions in marketing. And so this interaction with other areas of the business is important, but also at the end of the day, this course is going to talk a lot about just decision making in marketing and how that is done and decisions that can be made. We also want to think about our role in decision making in the context of the world around us, meaning that we're often in business in an environment that either is conducive or impactful to us being able to meet our goals and objectives as a business or organization. So understanding trends of the macro environment is important, something we'll certainly think about. And then finally, as we do marketing, just like any other business function, spend a lot of time analyzing our performance and understanding how we can meet goals and objectives and measuring those. So that's something that we'll look at too. So from learning perspective, think about this as one component, one spoke in a wheel, I guess, of business. And hopefully it will be taught in such a way where if you're a marketing person, that's great, but more importantly, if you're not a marketing person, you'll have value in this class and you'll be able to see the organization from a different perspective. So moving forward, things that you'll be able to use in this course that'll help you. Of course, Moodle. Moodle is our learning management system for Coastal Carolina University. It's where you'll find course content, information about the course, all those types of things. You go online, go to our class site in Moodle, and it'll help you there. The syllabus and the schedule. So the syllabus and schedule will both be posted in Moodle again. The course policies kind of that guide us, kind of what your expectations should be in the class is identified in the syllabus. The schedule is typically, when I do the schedule, I typically do week by week content for what we'll cover. And it'll also include things like assignments that'll be due, and where those will be due and how those will be due on a week to week basis. Textbooks and other readings. So there's going to be three things to look at here. Number one is the textbook. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's our kind of our textbook. This is Farrell, Hartline, Hochstein, and this is Marketing Strategy, Cengage book. It's the 8th edition. It has basically 10 chapters and then a bunch of cases in the end, or the second half of the text. Now we cover more than the content in this text, and so there's a supplemental textbook. It's free. It's an open access PDF of Principles of Marketing. And this is for two reasons. One, again, we're going to cover material that's above and beyond or outside of this marketing strategy text. Number two, if you come from a background where you're less familiar with either business or less familiar with marketing, then you'll use the Principles of Marketing book to kind of get up to speed. This is an MBA course, so you're expected to know something about the field. And if this is an area that you need some refreshing on, it's no problem. Just read this book and you'll be good. And this is, again, it's a PDF, so you can click on it and get it. Last thing is we'll have additional readings above and beyond the textbooks that have application. We'll talk about and we'll use a lot in class. So there'll be each week a handful of readings, maybe some optional ones there too if you're really excited about the topic, or you want to build a library of information. But I'll provide those. I'll have those available for you, either articles, newspaper articles, things like that we'll cover and we'll read as we go forward. Okay, moving forward then, let's talk a little bit about the communication, right? So we'll obviously see each other in class each week, so you can catch me before class or after class. 6 to 8:45 is our class time on Thursdays this term. Feel free, though, to Zoom, see me in person, schedule an appointment. That's fine, of course, and you can always email me. Lastly, on communication, you'll have a team that you'll work with, because there'll be a team project where you'll develop a product that's appropriate for a company and then present that product. The project will have a series of steps that you're going to work with, and the best tool here is probably Teams for us to use. This is supported by the university, so we'll be able to communicate and meet as a group that way too. Keep in mind the syllabus, the schedule, these things are set today, but sometimes we have to make some tweaks here or there, so I'll let you know if there are any changes that come along. All right, grading. We've got 4 major elements here then that you'll be graded upon, and I'm going to talk about each one of these. What I'd really like, though, for you to feel free to do is pause the video at any time if you want to just reflect on what's on the screen. If I don't cover things quickly or clearly or adequately, just pause and read the material. But you'll see here we have material reflections, class participation, cases, and then projects. So we talk about material reflection. Each week we'll have readings and class material, and I want you to think back to the week and think back to the readings, and I want you to apply what you have read to your work experiences and to, kind of your situation, I guess. So these are a relatively short 1-page reflection on the week's material. It helps you solidify what you're talking about. It's a summary, if you will, in how this material could apply to you or could apply to your organization or firm. Okay, these are once a week, or once a lecture. So we have, I think, 11 or so of these that we'll do. And again, you can pause the video if you want to look at this a little bit more. I'm going to move on, though. Participation and attendance. So while you are in class, the expectation is that you're an active learner and that you're contributing to the class community. Each week we'll have discussion opportunities. So we'll very often have some extra reading where there's a case or situation or a application of what we're learning in the class. And so we'll spend 30, 45 minutes, an hour, kind of talking about that case. And these are opportunities for you to speak up and bring value to the course and the class and your classmates. So each week we'll have some opportunities to be able to communicate with the classmates and such, and have active participation. All right, individual cases. These are deeper and longer than anything else, 4 or 5 pages long typically, on analyses for some companies that we'll look at, company situations. So these are individual cases, and there's only 4, but they're things you spend a pretty good amount of time on analyzing and dissecting. All right, and then finally, as I mentioned earlier, there's a group project. Project here is one where you'll be assigned an industry and you'll choose a company, and then as you progress through the term, you'll create a new product or service that company would likely do, and build a plan around that product or service. Kind of using decisions that we would make along in marketing to help launch that product. So that's a fun thing. It culminates in an oral presentation last week in class. So your team will get up and make a presentation, and we'll have some fun with that. It'll be a good experience. It always is. And we'll move forward from there. So again, go back, watch the video, pause on these if you'd like. All this information is also in the syllabus for you. So you have different areas where you can kind of learn about what these assessments are, and obviously we'll talk about them throughout the term as well. Other class policies, and I'm going to kind of read through these a little bit more. One, look at your syllabus. All kinds of class policies in there, just general stuff you'll want to look at. You want to familiarize yourself with that. I do want to pause here and make a note on artificial intelligence and the use of it. Over time, we've used many resources, whether it's going and talking to somebody to help form an opinion or a thought, reading a book, reading somebody's first, a book about a topic, looking at encyclopedias, dictionaries. With electronic communication technologies, we have television, we have radio. If you think back about where you get information from, which then helps you form opinion, magazines, articles like that. Then the internet. So this evolution of information sources went to the internet around 2000, 2005-ish, moving into the digital age. User-generated content, like blogs. And again, today with all the apps that are available, there's user-generated content, a very common thing, right? That doesn't make it reliable, doesn't make it legitimate, but it is a source of information that helps us form our own thoughts. So shifting then from user-generated information to computer-generated information is not really a big stretch. It's not really a leap. I mean, technologically, of course it is, but theoretically, from a learning process, it's really just a progression from one-on-one personal communication to something we have here. So I say all this because these are all resources for you, resources we've always used to learn. So use these resources to learn. It's as simple as that. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with a topic you're not familiar with, asking an AI to tell you more about it. Obviously, you still have to be careful about the veracity and the validity of that information. I mean, there's plenty of AI out there that spits out garbage. But then again, there are lots of people out there who write garbage that we've looked at for years. Wikipedia has been known to be full of garbage. So this is not anything new, but use these sources to learn and be critical about. Also use these sources to test and evaluate your thoughts. Maybe you have an opinion. Maybe you have a way you think something should be. So you go out and you use any of these sources to test your opinion, to test your thought, to see if your thought is valid. Number 4, don't use any of these sources, including artificial intelligence, to think for you. You cannot circumvent the thought process, the critical thinking element that we do, and supplement it or supplant it with artificial intelligence, with blogs, with digital technologies, with Wikipedia, with articles or whatnot. You need to form opinions on your own, and you need to think on your own. And that's where the challenge is, I think a lot of people have with the use of artificial intelligence. Once you use it for something beyond a resource and you use it as a tool to reflect or pass off as your thinking, then obviously that's plagiarism, that's unethical, that's grounds for dismissal. So don't do that. If it doesn't come from your head, this is an old rule, nothing new. If it doesn't come or originate from inside you, then you need to cite it. You need to have a citation, and you need a source, and you need to cite it. Otherwise, you're plagiarizing. You're stealing somebody's intellectual property. Even if it's a computer's intellectual property, you're still stealing it, and you're passing it off as your own. And that obviously is not acceptable and will result in a 0. So as simple as that. I say embrace it, but understand its limitations, and also understand its role in the learning process. And don't get fooled into thinking that this tool is going to somehow create knowledge for you. It doesn't. So with that, I want to welcome you to this course. I'm so excited about having you, meeting you, and having a semester together. So best wishes. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.